Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm Jackie, a child of God. I was all right until we were in worship music and the readings and everything else, and the devil was on me, like, gave me a sore hip. Thought, I've got to go now. Can't be here. When I'm in an NA meeting, right, I can talk, right? But see, when I'm talking in this arena, I'm not. I'm nervous. I feel sick, and it's because I want to do my Father proud. You know, I don't want to let him down. But you know, one of the worship songs, was both of them actually, like the chains being broken, and the second one where it was saying about Miracle House. Well, my first rehab that I went to in 2011 was called the Miracle Mansion. Now, if that's not God. And that's where my journey really, really started with recovery. I don't even know if God was in that, well, he was in that scenario, he was in that situation, I just wasn't aware of it. So my testimony. It took me a while to believe. I heard someone say in prayer tonight, say that they are thankful that our Father believes in them, because she doubts herself that she believes in him. And I went, wow. To actually have the courage to say that. My journey with my father has been slow, a bit like my recovery journey. My recovery journey was exactly the same. I was in and out of recovery. I've been in and out of Jesus. 1 minute I'm on fire for him, and the next thing, it's a bit like, it's typical addict. That's what it is. It's a typical addict behavior, because 1 minute I'm on fire and I'm alive, and then I'm bored. It's like, what's next? And the thing is that when I sit back and I'm aware of Jesus or God, however you want to call him, I call him my Father, I call him my Lord, I call him my Abba Father, I call him, he's my dad, right? When I sit, like step 11, prayer and meditation, when I connect, I feel peace, I feel quietness, I feel that I can face anything in that minute. But this goes, nah, this is all rubbish. Yeah, why are you doing this? It's a bit like when I got clean. Every time I got clean, I'm on fire, I'm in recovery, and that's it. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, I'm bored now. What's this all about? And, so it's been a slow, steady race. Like, a bit like the tortoise and the race. That's how my journey's been. I guess that's how my life has been, really, slow and steady. I just want to share something, right? What I've come to realize is I know that whatever storm I'm going through, whatever situation I'm going through, I'm not alone. And God has put people in my life, you know. He works in mysterious ways, right? He'll put people in my life that I didn't even know that I would have in my life. Like me and Raph were talking about it today, and our paths crossed in 2015, I think. And then it crossed again when Believers started here. And we're in a photo together, and we both can't even remember seeing each other. You know, so God had already worked that out, that I'm going to be here and I'm going to be in the team of Our Father's House. I've been with Our Father's House since I come to London, and that's over 3 years. And it takes storms to go through and to stay clean from anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Mine is not just using drugs or drinking alcohol. It can be self-harm, it can be men, it can be dating sites, it can be shopping, it can be trainers, it can be absolutely anything. But when I get through that stuff without having to cause harm to myself, I know that he's held me. And I know that he's walked along this path with me. And how my journey started was I was in Weston-super-Mare, and that's where my journey started, at the Miracle Mansion. And I got clean, and then, you know, as you do, you get the flat, and then I relapsed. And I remember coming to the end of my using one time, because there's been several times that I've come to the end of my using. And there was a church that just was literally down the road from my flat. And I would always find myself in that church, because it was open at all hours. And I'd always find, and the peace and the serenity that I felt in that building. And then I made it my home church. And then I was involved with Believers in Recovery, and that was in that church. And you know, and I went on Alpha. You know, I've done all this stuff to seek, but never accepted Jesus in my life. And what happened was there was a Believers in Recovery retreat, and we all went off, and everyone was getting baptized. And I was like, oh, everyone's getting baptized. And someone said to me, well, why don't you? I was like, okay, that sounds fun. Didn't know what it was entailing, didn't know why I was doing it. But I thought, you know what, let's give it a go. Got baptized. Everything went wrong that day. It rained when I was in the paddling pool being baptized. My song didn't work, that didn't come on. So it was like, this isn't meant to be happening. I lost my relationship with my daughter because she was so annoyed that I'd gone and done it without her. But it was like, well, it was mine. It was my thing to do. But what I'd come to realize is that when I was coming here, for the years that I've been coming here and I've been getting to know him, I've been in the Word, and, you know, I attend Bible studies and stuff like that and small groups, my relationship was getting stronger and stronger. And I felt that my first baptism wasn't the real thing. I just felt like I got a dip in the water, and that's what I was supposed to do. Because I got baptized thinking it would keep me clean, you know, and it didn't. And then I got really angry. I've been angry at God for a long time. And do you know what? Someone said to me, and it's okay to be angry at God. He wants you to be angry at him. If he doesn't do what you want, like, say, for example, I lost my granddaughter. Why? An innocent little girl that's done nothing wrong, pure as pure. You've taken her away. Like, why? And I was angry, and I thought, no, I don't want to. You've taken so many people away, but that's what I believed you've taken. Then I had to sit down with someone who was a little bit more understanding and say, it's not God that's done this. You know, it's man. It's man. And he said to me, it's okay to shout at God. It's okay to tell him how you feel. Because I used to think it was a bit like a relationship where you don't want to hurt him, you don't want to upset him, do you know what I mean? So you're going to tiptoe around, and you're not going to be honest, and you're not going to be real, and that's what it was. And then when I actually express myself and I tell him how I feel, well, you didn't answer my prayers. You know, why have you done this? Why have you taken this little girl away? Why have you taken this little boy away? Why have you done this? Why have you taken my sponsee sister away? It was all of this, and it was coming. This last 2 years has been the strongest of my faith, considering what I've been through, right? Because it's, what I've been through. That would have been the time where I would have turned my back and gone what I normally do and go and use. And I think, I was talking to someone today, and I actually turned around and said the words, it finally hit me when I lost Tilly May that I don't have to use. And that was the lightning moment. Like I said, I'm slow and steady, and it takes a while for things to drop. And it was then I realised that I don't have to use on this stuff. Death is going to come. And I can talk about Tanisha and, saying, like someone was saying to me today, how do you cope with your daughter being out there and you don't know whether you're going to get that knock at the door or you're going to get that phone call? And I said, because I turn it over to God and I believe that God's got her, and whatever happens is God's plan. It's not my plan. It's not her plan. It's God's plan. I have to accept I'm powerless, that she's going to do what she's going to do. And but I don't let it determine my life, because if I was to sit there and think, right, I can't accept my powerlessness, God hasn't got his hand in this, she's all alone, I'd be sat at home, alone, in self-pity, in victim, and wishing her life away. That's what I'd be doing. And today, I don't do that. I turn it over to God. God has got her. He is holding her. Whatever his plan is, I don't know. But I know today I'm not alone. When I'm at home and I go into a feeling of grief and loss and sadness, because I am sad that she's doing what she's doing. But what can I do? I can't change it. And I'm sad that I see patterns, But there's a reason why God has me here today. There's a reason why I'm here. There's a plan. He has a plan. I wish he'd tell me what it is, but I don't, That's the element of surprise. Whatever his plan is, I'm here, and I shouldn't be here. So am I here to help other mums that are going through the thing of, like, with their children in addiction? Am I meant to be here to help other women? Am I meant to be here to help? I just don't know. But I know that I turn around and I ask my Father every day, what is my purpose? And at the moment, today, my purpose is get up, do what you have to do, turn my will and my life over to my God, to my Father, and see what happens for the rest of the day. I wouldn't change this journey I'm on for anything. Not money, not trainers. Yeah, that's a bit debatable. But I wouldn't change it. I can still go into moments of, this is boring, what is this about? But it's quickly disposed of. It's quickly dealt with, because I'm a blessing to be here. And you know what? The blessings that I have in my life today is not of me. It's not of me. But I have got some good news. I don't know if she's on Zoom, but I don't really care. my daughter is going through a court case to fight for her daughter. And I've, not fight for her daughter, that's the wrong thing. The dad's wanting access. And loads of drugs have been involved. And she phoned me yesterday and said, Mum, I passed the drug test. 6 months hair swab test. Like, that isn't, and do you know what? That is not of her. God has had his hand in that because of how it's all unfolded. She'll be going, no, it's not. It's nothing to do with God. But I know God's had his hand in that, as he's had his hand in my brothers and my sisters that I see every day get another day clean. You know, not sitting in a crack house, not, you know, the only thing I can say is go on that journey, find out, you know, like, as much as I can tell myself, yeah, I'm not meant to be in that church. That's it, I'm not meant to be, I keep getting dragged back. You know, I'm leaving the church, it's not my church, that's it. And then I go and try another church, and then I'm like, yeah, no, nah, it wasn't for me. And I always end up back here. It's the same with the ministry. Like, how many times, like, Believers in Recovery, I was with that ministry for 5 years on and off, and I cannot remember the amount of times that I was pulled back into that ministry. And it's the same as here. I think it was only a couple of months ago, I was like, that's it, I'm leaving team, that's it, I don't want nothing to do with it anymore. Because of my pride, my arrogance, my self-righteousness and everything else, and God makes me aware of that. And again, I'm here and I'm serving, and that's what I want to do. And I've got a new mentor now, and I just want to understand what the Bible is. You know, I know that you've got the Gospels, and I know you've got the Gospel. But I want to understand what I'm reading. Because when I study it, like, I'm your addict of, right, I need to get that Bible. No, that one, that's not good enough. I need to get another. I think at one point I had 8 or 9 Bibles, all different ones. NIV, Amplified, John MacArthur. Yeah. Luckily, a lot of people have been blessed by those Bibles, so yeah, lots of people have been blessed, because I love studying it, but I study it, but I don't understand it, and that's what I want to understand. Like, I know that, you know, creation, God made the world, I know that we had Adam and Eve, and as we call it, human life. I know the basis of it. I want to understand, like, I know about Jonah. That's been talked about in here quite a few times, and they talk about Jonah. I think it's Jonah, the one with the fish. The fish, yeah, right, yeah, I thought that. We can talk about that. Like, what I like about this ministry is, and I'm going to say it, Raf can just explain it so that I can understand it. And that's what I need. I need someone to be able to explain it to me in layman's terms, because NIV Bible was a bit, and King George, whatever, yeah, King James, yeah, King George, King James. See, told you I don't know what I'm talking about. King James, I can't even understand that. It's like here with a But do you know what? They're all good, because I got given a Bible as well, the Passion Bible. I've got that at home, and I'm able to look at different. But the best thing I ever did was get a study Bible. That was the best thing I ever did, because that helps me to understand. But I have a tattoo on my leg, right? And it's scripture. This is how much of a memory I have. I can't even remember word for word, and it's tattooed on my leg. And it's been tattooed on my leg for almost 3 years. So I wrote it down. This is my favourite piece of scripture. Joshua 1:9. This is my command. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. He's always there. You know, I remember going into a job interview, and I sat in the car and I prayed. And this is before I had a relationship with Jesus. And I remember praying, God, help me to get through this interview. Just show me, be there, sit there with me, be in that room and tell me what I need to say. Wow, did I feel peace when I was in that interview. I wasn't panicking. I wasn't like eager to find out what was happening, or I just felt at peace and I felt relaxed. And it's the same when I got my sponsor as well. You know what? That was God. God brought that woman into my life because of the way she came into my life. Again, that woman, we had crossed paths at a step retreat in 2018. We ended up being roommates. All I remember is this crazy London woman with curly hair and loads of tattoos. And she challenged me about my behaviour around men. She'd only just met me, 10 minutes, literally. And it was locked down, and I came in and I got clean, and I've been clean ever since. And I remember I got to about 90 days. I had no sponsor. And I remember the last use up I'd had was with my daughter again, after 9 years of not using with her. And I wanted to use again, even though that I believed that I'd fully surrendered in my heart. I just knew that staying clean wasn't enough for me. I just knew it wasn't enough. I had to go to my fellowship and have God in my life. And there was her and Raymond were doing closing shares on this American convention, and I thought, I know that woman. And anyway, I listened to her doing the closing share for NA, and then I went on another platform, and she was doing a testimony. And I thought, okay, right, good. She's done well, because the last time I saw her, she was like 30 days. I think we were both around 30 days. And anyway, ignored it. Went on another meeting, and there she was again. I thought, all right, God, what are you trying to say to me? What is it you're trying to tell me? Why am I still seeing this woman every time I click on a meeting? And he placed it on my heart. He said, ask that woman to be your sponsor. So eventually I plucked up the courage and I asked her, and she kept me waiting. I'll never forget it. She kept me waiting for 3 days. Go away, pray about it, and I'll talk to my sponsor. That was her words. And for the first time, I didn't hound her, I didn't hassle her. I just turned it over to God and said, right, God, if you want this woman to be part of me, part of my life, part of my recovery, then it'll happen, won't it? And then she phoned me and she said, right, are you ready to start the work? And that woman's been my sponsor for 4 years. Yeah, 4 years in May I got her. And she's taught me so much. Her being a godly woman herself has, well, I believed, has brought me here. It's just how everything has happened. It's just how everything has transpired from where I was, not knowing what I was going to do with my life, thinking, this is rubbish, I'm just going to go back out and use, to having a woman in my life that was godly woman, who was NA, like knew the literature, knew this program. And then I was living in my flat with a girl who could not stop using. I had all this going on with my other daughter getting released from psychiatric wards and stuff, and I didn't know where my life was going to go. I just knew that I needed to do something different, and she got me an assessment at A Place in Treasures. And I moved in there a week later after my assessment. And I was 15 months clean when I went in there. And again, that place, godly place, run by godly women, changed my life, and here I am. And and I forgot. So, talking about the baptism, I got my baptism reaffirmed here because I knew it was time, and I knew why I was doing it. And I was doing it because I wanted to be a new creation, and I want to be like Jesus. Thank you. I'm going to leave it there.
Thank you, Jackie. So we're